she asked why I was breathing so heavily, I wasn't. Hey guys, what should we do for our history project about the town? Asked Naomi. They all turned to her and said, hey, let's just look at facts about our town on the internet and see what we can find. After hours and hours of researching about the town, they find something not interesting, but at least they had a topic for the project. Then, all of a sudden, a group of kids walk up to them. One of them walks out of the group and tells them, if you think your topic is boring, then what do you think about this topic, the Red Lady? Lucifer then asked, who or what is that? A girl from the group tells them, well, let's see, where should I start? She was a woman that had died many years ago in the orphanage house in the autumn woods, but we know what really happened to her. Then they ask, how do you know how she died? Can you tell us? The random girl says, that's for you guys to find out. As the random kids start walking away, Naomi, the brave one, said, we should go check it out. Then Gus says, no way, are you crazy? Are you insane? What if something happens to us? What if we never get to see our loved ones again? Then Felix says, whoa. Relax, Gus. Nothing's gonna happen to us. Who knows if what those weird kids said was true? Then all of a sudden, the teacher says, gather up. We are writing down the topics you all want so that you won't have the same topic as your other classmates. The teacher said in a bored way. One group says, we want to do the history about all the stores in our town. Another group says, we want to do a project about the history of the people that used to live in the town. When it came the time for Naomi's group's turn, they said, we want to do our project about the Red Lady. The teacher chuckles and turns away to cough. But when she turns back around, Naomi notices that her eyes are pitch black for a moment until she shakes it off and puts her hand on her forehead as if she was nauseous. Then said, okay, class dismissed. While everyone leaves, the teacher, not acting like herself, walks away toward the other side of the room, and as she came to a stop, the lights started flickering, and she just stared at them with a terrified face. While walking to their lockers, Naomi says, hey guys, did you see the way her eyes turned pitch black for a second? Nah, you must have just imagined it, says Felix. Naomi sighs in anger and says, then why don't you look and see what she's doing? So they all go and take a quick peek through the glass
window on the door and saw their teacher mumbling to herself. But just as they were about to walk in, she turns around and looks straight at them. That's when they saw her pitch black eyes, like that of an owl. They ran out of there as fast as their legs could move, one after the other, down the hall, down the stairs, and straight out of the front door of the school. Gasping for air, they reached where they felt safe. Drenched in sweat, they stared at one another in complete silence, but knowing what each other was thinking. After that day, still showered in fear, they go to the town library to find out some information on the Red Lady. They couldn't find anything about her other than her parents, so they decide that the next day they would meet up at the entrance of the autumn woods and investigate. The next day, they are all at the entrance having fear. They are walking into the gates of the woods. They start to hear strange noises as if there is someone walking behind them. Draftfire, Naomi, Gus, Felix, and Lucifer turn around to see who was there, and to their surprise, no one was there. I don't like it here, guys. Maybe we should go back, said Gus. Oh, don't be such a baby, said Naomi. While Naomi and Gus were fighting, Lucifer went further into the woods. In the distance, he could see an old mansion. Guys, I think you should see this. Draftfire, Gus, Naomi, and Felix all turned around to find out there was a mansion that was at least 8 feet away. The mansion looked as old as the town. Moss was growing on every single side of the mansion. The stairs outside looked like they were about to collapse, and it smelled as though someone had died there. They all look at each other, some with amazement and some with fear. Well, what are we waiting for? Come on, guys, said Naomi. They all followed behind Naomi, walking towards the old mansion, trying to be careful not to break the aged stairs. Once they were at the front door, Felix reached for the doorknob, when all of a sudden the door swings open by itself, and they all look at each other with blank faces, but yet still proceed into walking inside the house. They look around the house and they notice that the walls had boards covering up holes. Also, pictures of people with their faces scratched off that you could barely even see who it was. Frayed wooden doors, mangy rocking chairs with dolls on them, and what seemed to be a children's rooms. Ligneous stairs leading up to the upstairs, and they all noticed an unusual smell of faint blood. They felt uncomfortable but still proceeded further into the mansion. While they were walking, Gus stepped on a newspaper that said,
1965, the year no one can forget. 65 bodies of children were found in the woods. The murderer of the children is called the Red Lady, and is pronounced dead in this late October. Hey guys, isn't this the Red Lady that those weird kids were talking about? Said Gus, but before the others could say something, they hear a loud crash and slam. Then they hear children giggling, so they all ran out of the mansion without thinking twice. One by one, 5 kids run out of the mansion, but the last one, Lucifer, while running down the stairs, one of the wooden stairs broke and his foot got stuck. While Lucifer was struggling to get his foot out of the stairs, a lady in a red dress was walking towards the door. Terrified, Lucifer screams, "Ah!" The Red Lady in the red dress, says, "Today you will die and become one of my children." As soon as she says that, Lucifer's foot was free and ran like the wind. Meeting the other kids at the entrance of the autumn woods, he ran trying to get some air. Puff, puff. Then Lucifer says, "Did you guys see that?" "See what?" said Felix. "The lady in the red dress." They all looked at Lucifer with a confused face. They went back the next day, and sure enough, they heard something going tisk from the other rooms, and they just ignored it. They went on walking through the house, and they then saw an elderly woman standing at the end of the hall watching them in a really disturbing way. Felix, Naomi, and Gus went on to walk toward her, while she stayed behind and had this weird feeling in their gut about her. Just when they were 10 inches away from her, all of a sudden, hands started popping out of the holes of the walls, trying to grab them and hold them down. The
hands were as cold as dry ice, and they could hear them saying, "Get out, get out." They go to the house, and while walking through the hall, they noticed a woman across the hall. So 3 went to her, and then hands popped out, trying to grab them. They ran out as quickly as possible, and they knew something was wrong with that house. Naomi then heard the woman laughing and laughing and laughing. At that moment, she knew that she was the Red Lady, and that was the one who made those noises the first day they had been to that house. Even though all of that had happened, they still wanted to see what had been the hands that were popping out and what would have happened if they stayed. They all go back at the 3rd time, and right when they walked in, they heard giggling and someone saying, "You shouldn't have came back," in a trembling voice. After they heard that, the floor beneath them starts to break apart, and they fall into this deep pit, later on finding themselves in a cage surrounded by children's spirits. Then they see a woman in a bloody red dress, with her hands covered in blood. She looks like she is about to do some type of ritual. She starts to say these words, and not one of them understand the language she is speaking. And then all of a sudden, Felix starts to climb up to the ceiling and starts saying, "You are going to die." The 4 other kids start screaming. They hear the woman starting to laugh. Then all of a sudden, the bars of the cages open wide. All of the 5 kids start to run out of the cages and try to run out of the basement. But the door was locked. So they went all around the huge
basement to try out and find a way out. but two kids fall behind Felix and Jafar and get captured by the Red Lady. The screams of Jafar and Felix fill the entire basement with terror and despair. Yusufa and Naomi, Gus noticed this and said, "We have to get them back." So they huddled up together and came up with a plan to distract the Red Lady. They make her leave Felix and Jafar alone. They try to take them and try to run out of the front door, but they don't succeed. They end up breaking a window to make sure that they have a way out. Then they form some type of ritual with the book they took from the Red Lady. Naomi finds the Red Lady and tricks her into chasing her to the spot where they are going to the ritual. The Red Lady barely notices that they are doing a ritual to get rid of her. The Red Lady tries to get out, but for some reason she can't because Gus and Yusufa put salt everywhere she could possibly get out. Then they start doing the ritual and she starts to scream and shout because all the souls she took are being let out of the jars. The Red Lady is starting to fade away, hopefully going to the underworld. When they were finished, they climbed out of the window and walked away from the mansion. But as they are walking away, they notice a girl standing outside the door.
The end.